What's going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Gonna talk about something that's been happening for quite some time, and I can't believe how far it's been blown out of proportion, and how I guess I can't be too surprised because YouTube is absolute trash, but at the same time, I didn't think that they would take it this far. I'm sure a lot of you have at least somewhat heard whispers about this Quantum TV versus the ActMan. Before, it used to be other people. It used to be Quantum TV versus Rich from Review Tech USA, some other smaller creators, because this all started because of an Elden Ring review. And this is what initially got me interested in the whole controversy, is because, and I even made a video about this, I always thought it was kind of weird that there was people freaking out about the prospect of there being an easy mode in from software games, because all the people that were crying about that, they would never play it. So my thought was, well, why would you even be bothered if you're not even going to play it? You don't play easy mode on other games when it's available. Why would you even be mad? And it just felt like a little bit of zealotry to me. And I was interested in like diving into those subjects and seeing people if they had good arguments to why. But all the arguments were just, I want you to play like this. And it was really interesting. So Quantum TV comes out of nowhere, and he takes the argument a step further as far as saying Elden Ring and games that don't have easy mode or that are not built for everybody are just inherently bad. They're just bad games because they're not fun for everyone, and games should be for everyone. And it's just like the worst take of the century. So obviously everybody trashed him. And instead of him taking it on the chin and just being embarrassed and moving on, he started copyright claiming people, saying a bunch of egregious stuff. And the weird thing is, he's pretty much been unscathed this entire time. So when things really got to its biggest moment is when the ActMan, he does a lot of videos about a lot of various games, but Soul series, big fan of them. And he obviously loved Elden Ring, and then he made a video about the hot takes from Elden Ring. Naturally, Quantum TV's take was going to be in that. And when that happened, Quantum TV, being the weirdo, narcissistic psychopath that he is, he went hard in the paint and tried to flag stuff and just did every little dirty trick in the book to try to say that this is my IP, this is my intellectual property, I did not give you the permission to use it, even though it's fair use. So we all understood that everybody, Rich Review Tech USA, everybody who's made a video with commentary over Quantum TV's videos, it was all fair use. And Quantum TV does not understand fair use. So we all were on the same page. But Quantum TV doesn't care about fair use. He doesn't care about the explanation. He's a narcissist. It's all about his worldview. And he essentially took things to the next level by contacting the ActMan's mother. He doxed his mom, got the information, called his mom, which is just the wildest thing ever. Naturally, the ActMan was furious, like anybody else would be. And YouTube did nothing about this. The ActMan made another video, very detailed, very theatrical, Ace Attorney style video with a lot of prominent YouTubers like Charlie Moist Critical as the judge. It was a big thing, just kind of showing that YouTube failed the ActMan, failed YouTube creators in general, and essentially just showed without just completely 100% empirical evidence that the ActMan is correct in the situation and that Quantum TV is wrong on all accounts. He's been abusing the copyright system. He's been ban evading. He's been banned before, and you're not allowed to make another YouTube channel once you've been banned. He's done all this stuff where he should be gone and kicked from the platform, and YouTube has literally done nothing. They said after thoroughly, with quotations, thoroughly reviewing, they just, nope, everything's fine. After thorough review, he didn't do anything wrong. And then it turns out, after all of that, when the ActMan literally was the victim in the situation, they demonetized the ActMan's channel. His video also got removed for nudity and sexual content. That last one. And so I discussed this on the Snark Tank podcast, the podcast I do with Chris Reagan and Tom Sweeney. It'll be out later. But we discussed this, and my thing was, there must be some sort of vendetta. Because YouTube has done a lot of egregious things over the years. But this one really takes the cake. Look, there has to be something really going on in this situation for them to do something like this when Quantum was so clearly in the wrong and the ActMan was so clearly in the right. Something behind the scenes, some type of weird corruption or some type of vendetta, some type of just saltiness was going on. And when I woke up this morning, I think I saw exactly what that saltiness and what my theories pointed to. Because the ActMan, he tweeted this out. So it's pretty funny if you want to get something done from YouTube. If there's information that if you want YouTube to really respond to you, your best way is to go through Twitter, which is hilarious. I've used YouTube's email system. I've used their chat system, so on and so forth. It's garbage. You're better off doing this. But we have here, like, he essentially, he points out that YouTube discussed why his suspension even happened. Like, so he lets you know why it happened. And he's essentially saying, oh, you made threats of doxing our team. And they take those threats very, they take them very seriously. And it says, we may take action to protect the community. And these are the tweets that are referred to. Basically, when YouTube did absolutely nothing, and this basically said, we're not going to uphold our policies that we have, where you can't harass and dox people, you can't threaten people, you can't abuse the copyright system, and they did nothing. So he just satirically was like, I'm excited to announce that a new series of videos I'll be making on YouTube called Doxing Adventures with the ActMan. In it, I'll be doxing and harassing the family members of YouTube employees and other content creators. I'm sure to have have lots of family fun, ha ha ha. Like an obvious, clear-cut obvious joke. And then you go on and it says, with YouTube's new policy changes that allow doxing and evasion of privacy, I am fully allowed to make these videos. So on and so forth, you know. So he's obviously being facetious. He's obviously just joking around. It's a complete parody. And people at YouTube, instead of going after the person who was doxing, ban evading, and abusing all these community guidelines, just basically going against all the guidelines, instead of going after them, they're like, oh, you made a satirical joke at our expense. We're going to throw the hammer down on you, which is just absolutely insane. It says a lot. What it says is YouTube and the people behind the scenes are paying attention. And so it begs the question, why won't they get rid of Quantum TV? Why were they so quick to destroy the ActMan's YouTube channel? And then they act like they thoroughly reviewed the Quantum TV and everything that he did, and they're like, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, it says so many things. It reminds me of, like, say, you know, when there's big issues within our politics in the United States. We want things to get done. We want our representatives to get past laws to protect us or do things, this, and that. You know, you talk about, like, gun regulation or something like that, for example. Oh, their hands are tied. They move slow as molasses. Nothing ever happens. And then something happens at their expense. Like, people start protesting the Supreme Court people, right? Because of, you hear about the Roe v. Wade thing going on. And as soon as they feel threatened, they pass laws immediately to make sure you can't do this. Like, oh, you can't try to protest to sway the judge's decisions. So they pass laws immediately. But then for other things that people really want done, they're just like, oh, I don't know. Like, it reminds me of that type of thing where it's like, they're clearly paying attention. And then they're just ignoring the situation because they can. Because they're dickheads. Cool thing is, this thing's going to be escalated even further because Philip DeFranco is going to talk about it, which I always appreciate when something gets big enough and it gets enough requests. He does listen, so there is going to be, let me just slap a little like on that bad boy. So there's definitely going to be, it's going to blow up more, and hopefully this thing will get fixed, you know, because at this point it's like, what are YouTube going to do? What are they going to do? Like, how did they find this guy innocent? If they looked at even a little bit of it, it's like, you can't honestly, genuinely say that. I am a little bit taken aback but at the same time, I'm not that surprised because something that happened to me recently. Here's my second channel. I have 3 channels, right? But my music channel, and then this is one where I just put memes on. This channel got demonetized for no reason. It said I was reusing content. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not something that I'm doing. By the way, this is like the home of the, if you guys know the gay rock parody, you know, it got almost 3 million. It went viral, went all over the place. Pretty hilarious. But yeah, it got demonetized. And the thing is, I was able to reapply at first. I reapplied, and then, what was it? In March, I got accepted again. So I was like, oh, this must be a glitch. This must have just been some stupid glitch or something. Something stupid happened, and then that's it. But then, as I just showed you, I got demonetized again. And I can't appeal. I just have to wait to reapply again at the end of this month. And the thing is, I was like, why would I reapply if they're just going to demonetize me again? I talked to these people, I talked to them in emails, and I just got the runaround. And I explained to them specifically, I was like, yo, you guys aren't listening to me. Like, I already had monetization, got demonetized, got remonetized, and then got demonetized again. What's going on? And then all they said was, they gave me an answer as if, like, I was only demonetized for the first time. Like, oh, sometimes this happens in the review. And I'm like, dude, they're not listening. They're not listening. And I feel like it's a situation with, like, the ActMan where they're not listening. And the only way they would listen to me is if I did some type of veiled threat, or if I did something that was just like a satirical threat like he did, then they would immediately understand exactly what I'm saying, and then they would take action and punish me further, like, oh, we're just gonna delete your channel or something. It sucks, man. YouTube has done so many dumb things, and they've ignored so many problems, and it just seems like they need better leadership. They need better people to work here. They need people to actually answer these questions. They need people to actually look into this stuff and actually do something. They need transparency. Like, there's so much stuff that they can easily solve if they would just be honest. I mean, there was like smaller things that have happened, like just wanting to know like why certain features weren't available on my main channel. I said, hey, they're available on my small channels, like a merch shelf. I can advertise my merch on my smaller channels, but I can't on my main channel. What is going on? Why am I ineligible for this? I got the runaround a billion times until one person finally they probably got fired too, for being honest, but they finally told me that you have too many unmonetized videos, you know, when they demonetize you or whatever, or like limited ads, when they put that yellow mark on you. Said you have too many of those and it just looks bad, so some features are stripped from you. And I was like, oh, that's BS, but at least I know why. I have a clear-cut answer. And that took years for me to get one final answer. I've asked these people since 2019, and I just got my answer probably late last year. Like, that's how stupid this is. I've asked about my channels and the subscriptions, and how I've hit 420,000 subscribers 3 different times within a very short amount of time, showing these people there is something wrong with this channel. A lot of people have experienced very similar things. Why are people's views and their subscriptions shooting up and then just plummeting in a short amount of time, where it doesn't, all the explanations they give you, oh, we're just cleaning the stuff out, it's just bots, it's just this, it's every excuse that doesn't actually, I showed them a graph on how this makes no sense. How are you going to tell me that within the same year, I'm going to hit 420K 3 times and like then dip way below that? But I'm like showing there's no negative view. My viewership, my views on my channel were like skyrocketing. It just didn't add up. Like, there's something happening. And on top of that, people would be coming out and saying, hey, I'm not subscribed to you anymore. People that are normally subscribed are no longer subscribed. One of my closest friends I grew up with, he messaged me that. Like, he has no reason to unsubscribe from me. We've been homies since we're like 13. And then he tells me, hey, I've been unsubscribed from your channel. Like, just, and I've showed them this evidence. And then they literally ignore it. I showed them the evidence about, hey, I got shadowed, my rock parody, the face-off gay rock parody got shadow banned. It was literally on the trajectory where within a few days it probably would hit 10 million views. But then when it hit about 2.6 million, it just completely dropped off. And if you search the name of the song, if you put in the exact title, it will not show up. And as a solution, all they said is, well, if you check these filters, check a couple of filters here, then it will show up. And I'm like, who the fuck? And then they would just not acknowledge that it would been shadow banned and that there was an actual problem. And I was like, these people are a joke, man. Like, YouTube's been a joke. And so I'm a little bit shocked at what's happening with the ActMan because it's way over the top. Such injustice, but at the same time, I'm not that shocked. Because of the little things that I just told you, like, they just don't care. And they'll continue to let you be screwed over. And then somebody was a little salty and then just is punishing ActMan and letting Quantum TV roam free. And the worst thing about this is Quantum thinks he's vindicated. If you look, he has this video right here. The ActMan and friends failed at malicious termination efforts against Quantum TV. And he says vindication in the thumbnail. Like, he legitimately thinks he's vindicated because he is. YouTube vindicated his bitch ass because but that's pretty much it, man. I'll still be following this closely. Obviously, other people are going to be following it a lot closely. We're going to see what Philip DeFranco has to say, and hopefully maybe his input, his influence will do something. I don't know. He seems to not have that much faith in YouTube either, so we'll see what happens. But hopefully the ActMan will get remonetized. At the very least, that he'll get his channel back and he can continue to create, because dude is a massive channel. I mean, his videos are averaging somewhere around 900K to 1 million per video, which is, that's nothing to mess around with. And it's like, yo, come on. If this guy is getting treated like this, yeah, what chance do I have to have anything go smoothly for me, right? So that's why, I mean, if you've noticed, I don't put out as much videos. I don't put out as much content because so much stuff that has been going wrong, and then they wouldn't help me or sort any of the stuff out. I'm like, what's the point on pouring your heart and soul into this, doing skits, you know, investing money into all this stuff, and then you're getting nothing, no help in return. So you're like, oh, here's a something, the biggest thing I ever created. It was probably gonna hit so many views, and then just got capped. And then they're just like, not gonna tell you why. YouTube team, the team YouTube on Twitter usually responds all the time. And when I ask them about that, hey, what is happening with my parody? What's going on with there? No, silence. I asked them 3 different times and silence. Like, they know what they're doing. And then they just choose to ignore you. I'm like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that, man. They should not be allowed to do that. Like, Susan Wojcicki and all the people that are in charge, they should be looking into this stuff. Like, look what your employees are doing. Your employees literally aren't doing their fucking jobs. They're there to help us. There's customer service for a reason, and then they're just ignoring shit. Like, what is this shit, man? Like, what other company can you just blatantly just ignore shit like this badly? Especially with people that you're contracted with. These people, we're partners. We're working with you, and then you're just ignoring us and stuff. It's fucking crazy. But anyway, yeah. Justice for the ActMan. Hopefully things work out. I'll probably make another video about this if there's a major update. We'll see what happens. Most likely, we're going to try to get him on the Snark Tank podcast as well. And just see what's going on with him. Seeing if everything's cool. But yeah, good luck, brother. Hopefully things work out for you. And you guys take care.